Hi Aries. So this is the second Aries reading for the channel. Trying to make sure I get these out every week. But as anyone who is watching hopefully knows by now, I'm still learning on my tarot journey. And so maybe every week, we'll have a new discovery. So just interested in seeing what's going on right now. The Libra moon is ending, going into the Scorpio moon right now. Kind of getting in touch with the depths, the taboo, our obsessions, our intensity. Scorpio shares the Mars archetype with Aries, and Aries is really Mars dominant. The cardinal fire, the spark, births the fire seasons, the spring. And please get a Celtic cross for Aries. And please get a Celtic cross for Aries. And please get a Celtic cross for Aries. One, two, three, four. Didn't want to pop out right away there. Interesting. Scorpio moon is fixed, although Aries is cardinal. So Aries. So right now, the present energy is the Seven of Cups in the reverse. The Seven of Cups in the reverse can kind of be thinking about how you have a lot of options and you're sort of feeling overwhelmed by the many options that you have. But always, nice to know that we do have many options in any situation. The challenge right now is the Magician in the reverse. So maybe feeling like having a lack of energy, having trouble making your dreams a reality, and maybe that has to do with this overwhelm about having so many choices about something in your life. In the recent past, you had the Death card in the reverse, which is that Scorpio moon here, either now or coming up very soon, with the Libra moon ending. This is the card of large, deep internal personal transformation. So this is something you've recently been coming out of. So you went through some big transition period, and now maybe you've discovered within that so many options, and it can feel, it can make sense to feel overwhelmed by that. The other card associated with the Scorpio archetype is the Tower card, which can be about sort of letting things crash down to create the new, but then you have to build, and that takes time, and figuring out pathways through different options that would be best for you can be overwhelming. In the future right now, if kind of the current energy continues, or the future energy that may be surrounding you is the Empress. So this can kind of feel like having trouble feeling that sort of abundant, fertile, spiritual energy, and that could make sense if you're coming through the sort of difficult period, feeling a lack of energy and overwhelm, that you're not necessarily feeling like you're sitting in your Empress energy in the upright in the near future. But again, but as I've said in some other readings, the major arcana cards mean that something big is going on for you in your life. Whether it's in the upright or the reverse, I don't think that there are really good or bad cards or placements. It's just kind of what's going on right now. And with the Death card in the upright and the Empress in the reverse, it's showing that you're coming out of this difficult transformative period, and maybe giving this fertile, abundant energy to yourself more than working on giving that to the outside, because really what goes inside comes outside as well. In the energy above in your consciousness is the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So maybe feeling like you've been sort of brash or cutting with the way that you've been communicating. You can also be sort of seeking some internal type of truth, but that might be, something that's just more personal for you about how you communicate. But this can also kind of mean like kind of coming across as a little bit cutting. And in the subconscious energy is the Three of Swords in the reverse. So this is really beautiful, especially coming out of the Libra moon. You have sword energy, communication, intellect, in the above and the below. Aries is associated with the head, and without head, we need head, heart, and balance. But sometimes Aries can go a little hard with kind of the head aspect, which is really interesting because in the high vibe, Aries is actually, a very like loving, connected sign, but can kind of have that a little bit of brash air energy, even though it's a fire sign. And I think fire and air, earth and water, they have some different but similar characteristics. So you have a lot of sword energy going on as this Libra moon, the Justice card in Tarot, turns into the Scorpio moon. And so in the subconscious energy, you're really working on like releasing a heartbreak. So that kind of it is consistent with the fact that in the above, in your conscious energy, what people are seeing is that you kind of have this cutting energy. You're like actively working to get over some sort of a major heartbreak. So that can come off as like brash communication and stuff sometimes. Your advice right now is the Two of Wands in the reverse. So some fire energy, but sort of like thinking about like a rethinking of a path or taking an internal path, not necessarily doing things as out in the open. But I think I see the Two of Wands as sort of feeling like a delay in making plans. And so maybe right now is not a good time to rush forward and make plans about things, and that's okay. Maybe now is just a rest period, or to rethink things, especially with this sword energy. Getting over this heartbreak of some kind, and maybe just like it's okay to like have a slow down in the plans right now. That's actually like your advice. The energy surrounding you right now, always beautiful. I love when the sun season comes in through the readings. This is the Chariot card, the major arcana card for Cancer. I really see kind of Aries and Cancer as being very friendly signs together. They're both cardinal, which actually puts them at a square angle. But the square aspect doesn't mean bad. It just means that like growth is needed to get the reward from it. But then once you get it, it can be really beautiful. And I've seen a lot of like Aries Cancer friendships. A big like the heartness of them. It's a beautiful balance of head and heart. And so the Chariot card is moving forward with kind of passion and zeal. With your heart, but like got these two lions and moving ahead, moving with passion, forging ahead in a strong way. And this is a major arcana card, so if the energy surrounding you is the love of Cancer season. A fear that you have right now is the Judgment card in the reverse, another major arcana card. So you really have this big, divine part of your life sort of happening here with the major arcana cards showing themselves a lot. This can kind of be sort of a fear about not answering your call, so not answering your destiny. And I think we are all looking for a purpose and wanting to feel at the end of our days that we did what we came here to do, whatever that means for people. And so maybe your fear right now is that you're not, whether or not it's true, that you're not going to be able to finish up to answer the call in the way that you thought that you were, at least. And the outcome of all of this, which is really interesting and beautiful, is that it looks like you're going through this hard time, this big transformative experience. You're not sure which way to turn. You're feeling like a little slowed down in your planning. You're actively working through a heartbreak, so this doesn't seem like a major celebratory time, but your outcome for right now is that everything is kind of going to be okay. It's the Four of Wands, it's that fire Aries energy, and this is about kind of like celebration. Just it can be associated with home, and I think sometimes some people can associate the Four of Wands with Cancer. Four is also, Cancer is the fourth sign, the current season. But this is kind of just like a card of celebration. So like you're going through all of this heavier stuff right now, but you're moving towards, an outcome of celebration given, the current dynamics that seem to be at play at this current time. And to get a color card, 3 color cards please to shape the reading. 3 color cards please to shape the reading. A little tight. 3 color cards please to shape the reading. 3 color cards please to shape the reading. So energy, creativity, and ghost. Energy, creativity, and ghost from the color cards. Just read from these guys directly, these ones. I think this is the first time I've read energy from this deck. When this card appears, it asks you to pay attention to the energy that you've either recently cultivated or would like to cultivate. Tap into the momentum of something that you've been working on. Get excited about a new project or even a seemingly mundane task like cleaning your home. Now is the time to pursue whatever has been calling to you. Thinking even just about cleaning your home. The home is Cancer season, so maybe this is some time to get your home together. You really have to work on the home. I was just thinking of this yesterday, that you really, and it has to be a constant reminder, you really do have to work on the home before you can really help anybody outside of that. And this cultivation seems to be like this deep Scorpio moon as we move into it, excavation of sort of, something that you would like or would not like to cultivate. What are you wanting to cultivate in your life? And maybe you need the time to think about that. And this is that time. We don't always have to be moving ahead, but you do have that passionate Cancer chariot energy working with you too. Ghost, when this card comes up in a reading, it may be because a ghost from your past has been paying you a visit. Your ghost may be something unresolved or repressed, or a person or situation from your past. Pay attention to what is coming up emotionally during this time. Why do you think this ghost is coming to you now? What is it here to teach you? So sometimes, with the Death card and the recent past here, that Scorpio card, as we move into the Scorpio moon or are currently in it right now, I kind of think about, Scorpios as closely, because they go so deep and are about transformative experience, can often be associated with the 8th house of death, sex, and taxes. And I think that has, some, when I think of cemeteries and because I love the spirits, it's kind of some Scorpio archetype in the cemeteries. So the ghost has some Scorpio, about dealing with the unresolved and the repressed. What is deep in there that you maybe haven't looked at entirely, or you have recently figured out, you're trying to release the heartbreak of that. It might be a little cutting in the way that you're going through things and not feeling like a very fertile energy in the immediate future. But in the end, it's going to be okay, and you do have to make your ghosts your friends, and then you can integrate them instead of having them haunt you. I say the spirits don't haunt us, we haunt ourselves, really. Creativity, we all have the capacity to be creative and express ourselves. Expression is very much Aries, the spark of the flame. Don't shy away from engaging in creative acts and pursuits. When you're feeling inspired, it's important to embrace that magic, spark, and excitement. Also, the Fool card can be associated with Aries, so that, just jovial optimism and just moving forward with just sprightliness, very similar kind of to the Chariot card in a different way. Enjoy the creative process. So most Aries that I know are very creative. The spark of fire, I don't know how you know that could not be a creative energy, and that comes through in lots of kinds of different ways. But embrace that creative side of you. And I've been thinking about therapeutic spaces and the creative process, and helping how we heal, and like maybe using like a creative energy can help you kind of get through this time towards this outcome of the Four of Wands, of that period of celebration after you move past the storm. Can I get a couple of cards to open the reading here of the T Fortune for Aries? Get a couple cards for the T Fortune for Aries. Get the cards for the T Fortune for Aries. Maybe 3 cards, 3 to 5 cards. That's for Aries. That's for Aries. Okay. One more. I like to get several of these in case different things are going on for different people. The ones I wanted to jump out most were wall and misunderstanding. So that could be something that you're going through with this transformative experience. Parting of the ways in either romance or business. So I wonder if this is the heartbreak that you're kind of processing on the subconscious level. And staff, you will be taken care of in difficult times. So it looks like what you're going through right now is it's possibly a difficult time, but that the outcome is full of a celebration, even if that's not necessarily what feels like it's coming up in the immediate interim. The other ones you got here: cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. So that celebration's coming up, and the Cancer season, love, passionate energy is really with you right now. And really this Four of Wands is also Cancer, so you have a friend. I feel a friend with you, and not everyone always has a friend, so it's good to be appreciative for our friends in whatever form that they come for however long. Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. So just keep moving. You got happier times, I guess, coming ahead as well. So the storm doesn't last forever. It just it usually can't. Life comes in waves. You will be playing a different role. So maybe from what you're feeling right now to the future, you're going to be playing a different role. So the only thing that is permanent is change. Yeah, the only thing that's permanent is change. Whether you're feeling high vibe or low vibe or anything else. Can I get a Rumi card for Aries? Just the first one I see. Can I get a Rumi card for Aries? Just the first one I see. Can I get a Rumi card for Aries? The first one I see. Do it again. The courage of your love. Okay, this is the first time I've seen this one, number 38. The courage of your love. Love is without reason. Rationality is like a cane. Judgment needs a cane because it is blind. When love arrives, thought dies into its shadow. Love is the sunrise, while thought is only a flashing light. So this kind of reminds me of that head energy of Aries trying to balance it with the heart. Judgment needs a cane, Judgment, rationality needs a cane because it's blind, but like the heart is much more nuanced. So let love come in when it's ready, and it takes courage to also accept love when that's not what you're used to. Thought dies in its shadow, in the shadow of love. The ghost, the shadow, Scorpio moon with the Scorpio energy, this transformation in the recent past. Thought dies in the shadow of love. And so sometimes maybe that can be good advice for Aries, because Aries knows how to do the head really well. Not everybody does, but can be good to let the heart in too. Love is the sunrise, the spark of the fire seasons, Aries. I do not bleat at you like a sheep. For to startle you from your slumber, I need to roar like a lion. You must awake, my beloved. There is no time to waste, for the wolves are circling, hungry for sacred flesh. So I shall roar mightily, and although at first you recoil in fear, soon enough you will see the wolves. You become aware and grateful to have been thus awoken. Ah, yes, you remember that you have a precious human life to protect. You fear me no more. You thank me. You jump on my back as if you were a warrior astride a wild mount. You roar then, along with me, awakening the others as we cause the ground to rumble, disturbing those even in their deepest slumber. You, like me, are a fierce lion, fierce Mars, Aries. Not a lamb to be led to so many slaughters, the variety of and opportunity for which is available in terrible abundance in our world. So roaring like the lion with this chariot energy, Cancer energy. These room readings can be a little long, but there's a Sufi story about a mother with her breast leaking milk. She loses her child, and once she finds him again, instantly lets him suckle for as long as he needs. A Sufi master nearby says to his students, "Do you think she would throw her baby into the fire?" Aries season. And the students all say, "No, of course not." And the master replies, "Allah saves his children more than she, with enough tenderness to throw them into the fire." So it is with love. At first, as a young heart, you want only comfort for your beloved. You cannot bear the thought of pain within them, even for a moment. Your own suffering is easier than bearing the suffering of your beloved. That young heart grows wise through experience. It becomes an elder, an ancient heart tempered by grace and rendered strong with compassion. This is the great heart that can hold the suffering of the world within it, and yet still find space for peace, for sweetness, for tenderness, and for rapture. This is the heart that shines with courageous love. It is willing to feel and bear all suffering without judgment in reverse, whilst gently holding it in the truth of what that suffering really is, the drying out of the mind addicted to suffering, with the sword energy in the upright, and the reverse in your above and below energy. The drying out, the air dries us. And we need that water of the Cancer energy that you also have here in the energy surrounding you with the Chariot and the outcome, the Four of Wands. The path of freeing the heart from the effects of a fruitful mind is an initiation into great power. So many lapses will happen before the heart grows strong enough to overpower old patterns and surrender without condition and equivocation. When it is ready to surrender in such a way, the heart is free and allowed to simply be. Even the mind then, finally freed from shackles and joyfully submitting to love, that Aries energy of the mind into Cancer season, more that nurturing love water energy, declares love in all forms, but in Cancer energy, very nurturing and hydrating. Let love be in whatever way it shall be. I can bear it. I shall take refuge in it. I shall not turn away from it. I am that love. And this is all a reminder that there's also love to be found in that shadow, in that air energy. That doesn't always feel as good, but is still part of sort of the divine process, and also the importance of allowing that love to come in to balance it as necessary. You are an ancient one with a heart older than the mountains. You are being asked to free yourself from the too small loves of the youthful heart, and come the youthful heart, baby Aries, and come the first sign, and come to understand and accept the wisdom of your mature heart. Your mature heart is not cursed with hardness or detachment. Your energy in the above, the Queen of Swords in the reverse, but with compassion and tenacious devotion to the cause that is most real and matters most, the quest for life of the human soul. Your ancient heart loves the soul and will roar like the lion of love at the wolves that would casually devour it. So you have an ancient heart of love, which doesn't always look like, modern forms, or but the love can also be the mind and the intellect, but when it's wielded in the wrong way, but to cover up a pain that's not even the primary intention of the communication, that can feel like you're not really sitting in your purpose of balancing the heart and the mind in the way that you feel like you need to, or maybe having it be helped that you welcome in that water energy, that nurturing energy right now could be good for you this time. So don't give up. Instead, do the sacred honoring ritual as needed. And really, that in this book, it can really, they have a recommendation, but you can also just do kind of whatever meditation fits for you. Create a sound of truth for yourself. That roaring courage, the courage of your love. So really, letting that love come in and help sometimes just let the love blast out the shadow. And love is really light and shadow. So I don't like to say that the light is what love is, but letting that love energy come in from Cancer season, and sometimes just melting the shadow, because sometimes you can't just rationalize it or talk around it, and that can be hard for someone who is used to working predominantly from their head and with rationality. That can be hard for them, but when it's just time for the love, the working on the rationality and the communication and the words and the intellect is actually can be detrimental to what you are trying to accomplish, and that fear of not really answering the call in the way that you plan. So keep letting that love in. The energy surrounding you is Cancer season, and you have a time of celebration coming ahead for this hard work that you've been doing. You're the lion. Find a way to roar with love in a way that feels right and natural for you. All right, and thanks for joining, Aries. Hope you have a good night.